Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Dream. Welcome to um. Hey, nice here. Let me know if you're not with but those of you that are in the chat, definitely let us know. Say what up. Audio is not good. What about now? Here's now. All right. All right. All right, guys. So, welcome to the Tuesday. Tuesday. Yeah. All right. How about now? Yeah, here's better. Here's better. All right. Here's How about now? Hello. Yeah, you should be able to hear me now. Yeah, my bad. For some reason, it didn't do it automatically. The the settings switched on its own. My apologies, everybody. So, what's going on? It's your boy Drin. This is Drin Talk Tuesdays. You know we do this every Tuesday, 8 a.m., 8 p.m. So I appreciate you guys all coming out. Today we have a good one from Boys to Men. We featuring Leroy. Leroy was here the last time with us a while back.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. I think
A
about
couple of
3 or
weeks
4
ago.
Dream Talks ago.
And actually, Leroy was actually one of my first guests.
Yeah,
Yes,
so.
once I switched over to YouTube. So he was one of my first guests in the YouTube platform. So Leroy, just in case nobody knows who you are, just give a quick introduction to yourself.
Hello, everyone. Again, it's great to be here again. But I'm Leroy Fellis. Originally from Trinidad, grew up in Florida, moved to New York. Don't plan on ever leaving New York.
He's bugging.
I love it here. I'm a father. I'm a husband. So that's me. The important things about me.
All right. Just if you are in the chat, leave us hashtag Drin Talk Tuesdays in the chat. Of course, hit that like button, hit that notification button, hit the subscribe button, everything. Share this with everybody that you can, and we're gonna go into it. So pretty much, Sunday actually, Leroy was over at the house. We had family dinner, and pretty much we got into the topic of Kirk Franklin. This Drin Talks, we're going to be talking about a little more current events, right? So we got into the topic of Kirk Franklin and the drama that's going on with him and his son. Now, I will say this, it's none of our business, right? What goes on with him and his son, that's their family business. But because Kirk is such a public figure, it came out. And because his son is what I will call an itch class IGA, that's why it's out. So I'm trying not to cuss. Pretty much, for those of you that don't know what happened, Kurt and his son got into an argument. His son recorded the phone conversation argument and posted it up on his Instagram or whatever social media account, and pretty much tried to put his father in a bad light. Now, Kurt, I think a couple of hours after that came out, posted a apology, and all that stuff. And it seems like Kurt at one point was going to get canceled or whatever goes on today, right? They're canceling Kurt.
Yeah, current culture, right?
Yeah, current culture, the cancel culture, right? So what was interesting is throughout the week, instead of Kurt being, in essence, canceled, more people came out and backed Kurt and said he doesn't have to apologize for anything. And what person hasn't been cussed out by their parents? Now, where I want to go with this is, when is it, right? Because this is Kurt's oldest son that we're talking about. This is a 32 going on 33-year-old man. When is it that we transition from our sons being boys to treating them like men?
Yeah.
And what do you think about that, Leroy?
Well, first about the whole situation with Kurt and his son. All in all, a lot of people have been saying, oh, a father shouldn't talk to his son this way, and so on and so forth. And granted, generally, yes, a father shouldn't speak to his son in that matter. But, the word that a lot of people use was his child, right? And yes, that's his biological child, but he's not a child. And based on what I heard, the part that we got was just one piece, it seemed like.
Yes.
Right? And there was like something that preluded this or came before this, right?
So according that it was Kurt, it seems like this man they've been having tit for tat and problems. Kurt, during that conversation, had called a family friend, had called their therapist, a family therapist, and was trying, but then something happened where now he felt disrespected. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that's the hint. That hint of, when he mentioned, you'll never disrespect me like that. Let's think about it, guys. This is my view, right, friend? Kurt knows he's a man in the limelight, right, or in the front of the world,
and a man of the cloth.
Exactly. Not only that, but also of the cloth, right? And we all know that perception is one's reality, right?
Correct.
So he has to be very particular about what he says, how he presents himself, and always, in a sense, being on his A game. So for me to know, I think he knows that his son could be a little messy.
Yes.
But for him to go so hard, for those who haven't heard it, you're gonna have to go on your own and listen to it. But he went hard, not even if he wasn't Kurt, it still was pretty hard. And I think that for him to get to that place, whatever his son said really struck a nerve. And I think And going back to your original statement, his son at this point is a grown man, 31 or 32, whatever. But he's a grown man now. And the way whatever he said to step to his father had, in a sense, stepped back to him as a grown man. And so I think at that point in time, no one should say that, be careful what you say to your kid, or that your child, he's not really a child anymore. This is a grown man. And he stepped into, as they say, grown man business or grown man issues. And he got grown man problems.
That's really it. And also, I want to just point out again, like, I am not condemning Kurt's son, nor am I praising Kurt Franklin. It's more of just to kind of give that example. We are well aware of that Kurt's son might have some type of mental issues. It seems like that's been documented, that he's just not quite all there. So we're trying to say it as in, if we look at it differently, as let's just say he was all there, he's a grown man. At this point, he's just going to have to deal with the consequences of being a grown man. Like, I'm not going to step to my father in that manner and not expect my father to step to me in that manner.
Yeah.
Well, my dad told me long time ago that if I come to him as a man, he's going to knock me down as a man.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank, period. That's just how it is. Because I think for us, and I'm not, just for us as men, at a certain point, your son's going to test you.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to, it's going to happen.
We've all done it, right?
We've all, started feeling ourselves, testosterone. Well, you're going to test the king of the castle.
Of course.
It's laws of nature. The lions do it. Mm-hmm. Everybody tests that thing. And it's up to the king of the castle, quote unquote, to assert his dominance. Because as soon as that happens, where you don't respect your father anymore, it's time for you to leave. And that's always what I've been taught, is if you don't feel my rule is bond anymore, my rule is law, then it's time for you to have your own castle.
Exactly. Yeah. Go form your castle with your own rules, right? I agree.
So I think in this aspect, right? So with us talking about, like, again, when is it time? I think that is the time for you to start treating your son as a man. Like, when your son starts to think that he can have his own castle, it's time to start treating him like a man.
Gotcha. I agree. Let me ask you something, Drin, and those out there, if you can answer in the chat. What age, man, if you're a man, you can answer. If you have a son, if you're a woman, still, what do you think, right? What age, Drin, as well? What age? I know we said when they step or when they start behaving, or, they can't no longer want to live under our rule, right? But let's see if we could put an age, a general age. When should we as men innately start to treat our sons not so much as, a young boy, but as a growing man? What do you think would be the age, if we could put an age on that transition, that time when we go from, we have Tristan, you have Charlie, and right now we wouldn't even subject them to certain even conversations. But, as they get older and things, there are going to be times when we're going to have to really now let them know this is the real world. What you were living in was a make-believe, right? What age do you think?
See, for me, I think I'm starting to look at it differently, where I said this on past talks, that I kind of talk to him as an adult, right? I talk to him kind of like as an adult. Now, do I fully talk to him as an adult, as if I'm talking to you? No, I don't. But I kind of give him the little tidbits here and there. And there's been times where I've had to sit him down and kind of explain to, like, hey, this is what men do. This is how we talk, or this is what we're supposed to do. Now, knowing he's a child, he's not going to get it all the way. But I do want to give him those little seeds here and there. So that way, I want to say probably around preteen age.
Good. I like that, because I think what you just basically said, it was like, you start immediately.
Yeah.
But it's just like, doses in medicine.
Yeah.
You just give a smaller dose, but then I guess you could say the real dose comes when they become
when you start preteen. Like you start giving responsibilities here and there.
Yeah.
Like right now, Charlie is 6 turning on 7.
Mm-hmm.
I am starting to think about, okay, what can I have him do around the house?
Mm-hmm.
To start build that responsibilities. My wife already has started him. Okay, Charlie, you got to clean your room. Make sure your bed is made.
Okay.
Stuff like that. So he's starting to get that concept where now he's waking up, he fixes his bed.
Gotcha.
And that's on her. Like I didn't have anything to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
My wife instilled that in him.
Yeah.
So now that he's starting to get that concept, now we can start playing a little bit and go, you know what? What else can we put in there? Maybe, all right, Charlie, start taking out the trash.
Gotcha.
Or, something cleaning up the kitchen table and giving him some type of chore so that he starts to understand a responsibility.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's real good.
And I think, and by the, like I was saying, like
Mm-hmm.
by the time he's a preteen, he's gonna start really knowing that, okay, I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah.
And there's something I say to him all the time, especially when he starts crying about like, oh, I want to play on my iPad, but my wife or me will say, hey, it's time for schoolwork.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, listen, we got to do it's that famous movie line.
Mm-hmm.
We got to do what we have to do in order to do what we want to do.
Yeah.
I hated when my dad said that to me. But being an adult now, you understand.
So true.
You understand. Like, I can't just do what I want and then let what I have to do go by the wayside. You can do it,
mm-hmm.
but it doesn't make for the
best outcome.
Best outcome. Now you're running behind on what you have to do, because what you have to do is
always
literally
going to be there.
You have to do it.
Exactly.
So if you don't sit there and do it, like, you're just going to be behind the 8 ball.
Correct. If you don't do it now,
it's just going
to be even a bigger pile. A lot of folks, I think it kind of falls in a little bit to procrastination, but it happens a lot. By you not doing it now when you should have, it becomes a bigger pile later. And every time you wait, the pile just grows and grows and grows.
And grows.
So, yeah, and I think, that's a very strong point. Giving the little details. Tristan's 5, but I haven't given him all that. What he does is he packs his lunch for school, right? Because it's all grabbing through the pantry, whatnot. He'll pack his lunch for school. But I never looked, and none of us actually said, Tristan, do this. He just saw me doing it a couple times, and then one night when he knows it's time getting ready to go to school, go to bed, he's like, Daddy, I'm grabbing my stuff for his lunchbox. So, it took me. I'm like, wow, he did it on his own. He took initiative, but I was like, great way to start showing responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And as you mentioned, it's practicing to teach them from young, do what you got to do now so you can do what you want to do later, because that's really what kills anybody. Any community. If you have any young man or woman who just neglects what they have to do, it's so hard for them to achieve anything.
So we have Cliff that said pre-TikTok and IG, I would say 12 to 13, but now I would say 9 to 10.
And
then he says, but I don't have kids, so I don't know.
No, I think that's good.
9 to 10 is a perfect age. Like I said, and also you'll have to judge your child's maturity. Well, not immaturity, maturity.
Yeah.
If they can handle that at 9 or 10 or even earlier, I'd say start it.
Yeah, I think Cliff brought a good point, because when he mentioned pre-TikTok and IG, you're the teenage years, because the exposure was so limited.
So limited, yes.
But now with with the platforms, kids, even with the best parents, the parents with the most security, these kids find a way to see all kind of things, or things find a way to get to the kids, right?
Yeah.
Via these pieces. So I like that point. That's good. That's really good. Really good. Now,
what do you think you have planned, in essence? Wow.
Sharon wants to talk, guys.
Yeah, it seems that way. What do you think? How do you think Tristan will be by the time he hits 16?
By the time he hits 16? Man.
Now keep in mind, like there's really no perfect answer, because you don't know. But how do you think? How do you hope? Whatever.
I'll say hope. What I'll hope, right? I hope my son maintains his his loving nature or caring nature. I hope he maintains that. I hope he doesn't get lost. We're talking about transition from boys to men, and sometimes that macho idea can get washed with your kids, and they think that, oh, I can't be passionate, I can't be caring because it's not manly, right? So I hope he keeps that. I hope definitely he keeps his, he gains a good sense of responsibility, and he just matures. I hope that when people talk about my son at 16, they'll say, "Are you sure he's 16? He's wise beyond his years," type of feel. That's what I hope he'll get to.
Yeah, I think he'll be that way. Just if he follows your example.
Appreciate it, brother.
I think Char. I feel like Char is gonna. He might give me a run for my money. I'm not
what makes you say that?
Char reminds me of me.
Okay.
Char is a very active child.
Very active.
And he's very in the mix in essence, right? So he reminds me of me, but he also takes qualities and traits from, Dina. So like he's not as, I guess, quote unquote, aggressive as I was. I wasn't a shy kid. Char, to a certain extent, he is a very shy kid.
Yeah.
Like he's out there, but he's also a very shy kid. Like I didn't mind being the center of attention, whereas Char has that, I don't really want to be the center of attention. Now, I don't know if he's going to grow out of that or if that's just him. Either way, I'm fine with him. What I would hope for him is that, like you said, it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to cry and stuff like that. But let's channel that in essence, right? I don't want to teach him that stop crying. But I do want to teach him like what to cry about.
To cry. Yeah. And understand that feeling you're feeling doesn't necessarily mean it has to equate to crying. You can speak
talk about it.
You can use another way of expressing it, right? And I agree with that. Let me ask you this, though. We talk about, I remember we've had a conversation a lot about, you were telling me about this book, Lord forgive me, I can't remember the name of the book, but it was a book that after you read it, it was truly, it's like, it took you through the journey of what truly a man is, in a sense. Like
man versus male.
There it is, right? And
that's why I started this, actually.
Yeah, wow, great motivation. So when we spoke about that particular book, there's a piece in it that we because we both have kids, we brought up the fact that, okay, before you have a kid, you're a male, whatever, but there's not saying for everyone out there, just you have to have a kid to be a man. No, I'm not saying that. But once you have a child, you start doing what you need to do as a family, there's a whole new essence of being a man, right?
Another layer.
Whole new layer, right? And so all in all, we've seen this is guy, I don't remember his name, but he does a lot of talking on Instagram and things about how a man should treat a woman, that part of being a male, right? And if I'm not mistaken, recently he had some situations.
Derek Jackson,
I believe that's his name. Okay. Yeah. When I think about, I'm saying all this now, this goes into, again, the boys to men idea. Before Derek Jackson and whatnot, I used to hear him here and there, and he, I would say he had a lot of strong points. Some things I didn't agree with, but I understood his angle. But then with the recent things that have come up, do you think that this will have is he less of a man? Is he like, what would you play on that? Was there something missing in his transition from boy to man? What do you take on that particular situation?
So with his situation, what I will say is there's a lot of Derek Jackson that I honestly did listen to, right? Hold on. Before we get into that, I do want to address, I just saw the chat.
Yeah.
Or why are you crying? Express the why behind your feelings. And that's exactly what I mean. Like, I don't want you to not cry, but to let me know what it is that's hurting you. Because I think that's just in that aspect of manhood. That's what's missing with a lot of men. And I do it a lot where something's wrong. I know something's wrong, but I can't verbalize what's wrong.
Yeah.
Because I never was taught to verbalize it. And it was shunned when you tried to verbalize it. So I want you to be able to tell me what it is that you're doing. And now, granted, with him, you're teaching him that, or you're teaching your son that, like, hey, tell me why is you're crying. You also have to try to teach yourself that. It's a lot harder for you because you've had, 30 or whatever years.
Yeah, different generation where that was like, no, like hands off.
Yeah,
off rip.
Like just suck it up, move on.
Yeah.
But so now back to your point about Derek Jackson. What I feel with him is I've watched a couple of his videos before, because it was all over the internet.
Yeah, all over.
Like, for years. And I had somebody post, he was always in the car.
Yeah.
Why he ain't never go in the house. Now you know why, right?
Yeah.
And I said, the acoustics are better in the car. But like a lot of things that he was saying is similar, if not the same, to a lot of things Steve Harvey says in his book.
True.
Think like a man, act like a lady, or act like a lady, think like a man, right? It's the same concepts, right? I think what happens, the difference between him and Steve is that because now of what's coming out with him, now granted, this was over 10 months to a year ago, him and his wife has had time to heal and move on from it. It's just now that we're all finding out it's a different story. But I think what's happening with him now is because he preached so much about don't be this girl and stop letting guys treat you like this and that, and now you're that guy. It made no sense.
Yes.
Right? So what I feel, do I feel that he's less of a man?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he's less of a man because like I said, his wife found out 10 months to a year ago. He's done the work from what we see to reconcile with his wife and she's okay with it. So that makes him more of a man that he messed up. He recognized that he messed up and now he put in the work to fix his relationship. Now, did he have my dad's in the house. He says, keep it clean.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna try, Pops, but right now I'm at a 3 curse word minimum. No, but so I think for him it's more of he did the reconciliation. He did that. I think it's because we're all finding out, and because he's been preaching all this stuff, we're all kind of like, hold up, he's a hypocrite.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, listen, I'm not trying to judge him necessarily. Like, I'm not holding him to the stake, but I used to listen to him quite a bit. He's been around for a while.
Yeah.
But only through Facebook and things I used to listen to him, and some of his points were they're very men. It's very like men step up, right? And men behave this way, and men should be this. And he had strong language. It's like, you're not a man if you're not doing A.
Yes.
He was very strong, and we know the information came out around now. It happened throughout their relationship, but it was like a heavy piece within a year ago is when I guess the heavy came out, right? Or heavy, the wife found out heavy. And it hurts. It doesn't hurt. It bothers me because let's take it to us being teenagers, right? And we're listening to him, and we're in high school, and we're trying to be, man, right? And we think that because of how he's speaking and what he's doing, he's a great example. What do you think happens in situations like this
when you see him fail? When
you see him, he's been quote unquote failing, right? He's been doing his dirt on the side, but stepping up in the pew to say him saying A, B, C, and D. What do you think the effects would be of that? Seeing him now, what do you think? How do you think, if you put yourself there
as a teenager,
let's say 16, 15.
I think as a teenager, that could be very detrimental.
Yeah.
Right. So like my cousin, and he's been on the channel.
Mhm.
His idol was LL Cool J.
Oh, it's Cool J.
LL Cool J, because they're both light skinned, they both got the eyes. He modeled himself, made sure he worked out in the gym, all that. LL Cool J. And what actually devastated him, and this is from his own mouth to me, he was just like, when I found out that LL had plastic surgery.
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's news.
See?
Yeah.
Now, mind you, he probably slight plastic surgery, nothing crazy. But he said, when I found that out, because I thought I could be that at that age,
okay,
all
that
natural.
Makes sense. Yeah,
and then I find out he did some type of procedure.
He did enhancements, yeah.
He said that devastated me, where he didn't like LL anymore. Now he got over it, because by the time he found out this, he was in his 20s. But now as a teenager, that could devastate you.
Yeah.
That you're trying your hardest to follow this example that this man has set forth, and then all of a sudden you find out he fails.
Yeah.
Now, depending on the maturity of that teenager, we can say, okay, he failed, but he's also human.
Yeah.
He's a human being. Human beings fall. But how many teenagers is really that mature?
Yeah, especially That's true.
And especially in this, like Cliff said, TikTok generation, this cancel culture generation.
Oh yes, even that.
Once you mess up, that's it.
Yeah.
Like Charlemagne the God says it all the time. This generation would not have let Malcolm Little become Malcolm X.
That's true.
Because as soon as you mess up, as soon as there's some type of negative thing, you tweeted the wrong thing 12 years ago when it was acceptable.
Yeah.
Now that it's not acceptable, you that's it. It's over for you.
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. That's
so
right.
For him, I like that he came out and he addressed it. Like he said in the video, that because we literally just watched it.
Yeah.
Like he said in the video, I don't have to address this to any of you. All I have to address it is to God and my wife, which I did already.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm addressing it because of the platform that I've been on.
Yeah, he did call that out.
And it goes in the same respect as Kurt. He said, Kurt, he apologized because, like you said, it's his platform. He's viewed as a gospel singer.
Yeah. A man
he's supposed to be holier than thou, man of the cloth. And now he's cursing out his son.
Correct.
So he had to address that. Now, do I feel that either one of them had to come out and say anything? Honestly speaking, no, it's none of my business.
Yeah, true. But the part that I have to add to it is, but because of the platform, I think if they did not have, if either of them would have said anything,
it would have made it worse.
It would have made it so much worse.
Yes.
I mean, again, you brought up a very strong point. Again, the cancel culture today would make it really bad, especially because there's no apology, no anything, and they're just silent. Now that I was thinking while you said cancel culture, let's think about our kids now, right? Because let's be honest, in high school, I did some stupid stuff.
Oh, did we?
Stuff that I could have possibly canceled in my group, in my crew, in my in my high school world. If this culture continues, it could be very tough for especially young, doesn't matter black, white, purple, pink, but especially black young men in school. Being the chance of being canceled.
I mean, if we're gonna take it there, right, where we talk about black young men, if you really want to be honest, cancel culture has existed for us
a long time.
A long time.
Correct.
Because as soon as there's any transgression, you're arrested. That's being canceled.
Yeah, that is.
You know what I'm saying?
That is. Yeah.
Like society canceled you from birth, in essence.
Correct.
Because at a certain age, i.e., once you start gaining your man muscle and whatever, and that can range anywhere from 10 to 15, however age.
16, yeah.
You are now viewed as a threat.
Correct.
So your innocence as a child is gone, period. You don't have that. I remember vividly. I forgot what Olympics it was, but Ryan Lochte.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was in Brazil. I want to say the Olympics that was in Brazil. Ryan Lochte and a couple of other swimmers from the U.S. team got in trouble because they fought somebody at a gas station or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And all throughout the media, they were saying they're just boys.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Lochte was 30 at the time.
That's a grown man.
He's 30 years old.
That's like Kurt Franklin's son. He's not a boy.
He's not a child.
He's a grown man.
But they're saying, oh, he's just boys being transgression, like you can't get him.
Yeah.
And I'm saying it, and at the time, I was in my 20s, and I'm like, hold up. How is he getting more grace than I would have got?
At 20.
But this is unfortunately, this is,
society we live in.
The society we live in.
So now take that. Oh, hold on. I think you got something in the chat.
Okay. The guy who cheated, I understand his reasoning for things. I wish my chat was working for some reason because I would just be able to put it up on screen. Mm. But the guy who cheated, I understand his reasoning for addressing things, not because he is not practicing what he preaches. Kurt doesn't owe anyone an apology because how he raises a son, which is true. I understand that. Like, what I'm not saying I didn't understand it. What I'm saying is that, do I think any of them needed to address it or had to say something? No. I understand why he addressed it because of what you said. He built a platform on righteousness and treating women right and all that stuff. And then come to find out, he's out here doing his own little dirt.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense. So I understand why he came out and apologized for it. But in all honesty, that's between him and his wife and his marriage. That's none of our business.
Yeah.
Regardless of him being a public figure or not. That's just how I feel. But where were you?
We were talking about the I was gonna say, you were talking about how we've been basically canceled from jump.
Yeah. Black
boys or black young men. So now take that, because that's been society before cancel culture was cancel culture. Now that's societal, right? Like, so that's like how the cop might look at you, how the teacher might look at you, maybe some of the kids at the school. But the essence I'm speaking to is, in high school, at least for myself, high school was a world. Like in my mind, it was like one world. That was my world. Like, you have your world with your parents, and you have church, and you have everything else. But at high school, and earlier we were talking about King of Castles. Like, high school was where I can have my own castle, right? But with cancel culture, what could, and amplifying the things that are already there, what do you think, one, what do you think the impacts could be? And two, how can we not avoid, but prepare our sons or daughters to deal with that? Now, the additional scrutiny for every possible perceived negative thing you do.
I think that actually pretty simple for me. If you teach somebody to love thyself, to truly accept and love all your flaws here and there, and know that you are human, that kind of takes away all that.
Well, that's I agree with you if the kids see our boys or girls do something negative, but how can we prepare our boys or girls to combat or deal with one who wants to cancel them for any issue? You know what I mean? Like, they're on the canceled side now. See, for me, that's a difficult question, right? Because I've always had the attitude of, I don't care what people think. So you developed that early, yeah.
I've always had that attitude. And it's something, my dad had actually brought up to me, like, who cares? Your parents love you, your family loves you. Who cares what other people think?
Correct. Even in the world, though. So let me
even in the world, because what happened was, like, I remember it clearly. First grade, I thought I was funny.
Yeah,
I thought I was an hysterical kid.
You were it. You were.
At that time, I thought I was Bernie Mac, all that.
Got you. Yeah.
So I was in class slinging jokes.
Got you.
And this one girl, Her name was Tara. She sat next to me and she just turned to me and was like, I don't think you're funny and you're not funny. And that cut me deep. That cut me deep, shut my whole world down. Like to the point where like I was crying and I blamed it on allergies.
Wow.
All right. And then from there, like it took me to a place where like, am I really funny? Am I not funny? Whatever. And then I had to realize I might have not have been funny to her, but my friends think I'm hysterical. So it just, I figured out to get in where I fit in, I might not be for everybody. And at that point in time, like I said, I was a kid where I was in the mix. I didn't shy from being the center of attention.
Yeah.
So for somebody not to like me, it was kind of weird at that time. So especially with my family, like I was always the center of attention with my family. So for her to say that, like I had to realize, like, you know what? I'm not for everybody. I'm not everybody's sliced bread. Not everybody's going to like me.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Now, I didn't realize the whole that's okay part, until I was a teenager. But like growing in elementary school, middle school, I developed tough skin in essence. I'm just not for everybody. Now, as an adult, you really can't tell me anything.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, I think once you get past that, that teenage space, that adolescent space, it's a much easier as an adult to not, hold on to those type of things. When I think about my high school time,
Cliff said dishwasher coming soon, Dina. But he also said, to Dina's point, Derek's whole platform is built on how a man treats women. No. Again, like I said, I understand why he addressed it, but that's the point of, I guess, the culture that we don't understand. Yes, he is a public figure, but to keep it 100%, what happens within his marriage, he does not have to address it to any of us. We are not in his marriage. We are not in control. We are not part of his marriage. He's not married to us. All he had to do was address it with his wife. Now, because his platform was public, yes, to keep his platform or whatever, maintain whatever, he addressed it with us. But he didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. I understand why he did it. But he did not have to do anything. He could have just shut up about it and kept it moving.
Yeah.
That's between him and his wife.
Yeah.
His wife accepts him. His wife forgave him, and they're working on their marriage. That's it. He could have kept his platform going and just been like, hey, guys, this is how you get back with your wife. This is how you start treating her like a queen after you mess up.
It's going to come.
It's coming.
I believe
it's coming. Matter of fact, there was another
platform.
video when we looked up the first video, that first one, like what he thought about his apology.
Yeah.
We didn't get to watch it.
Yeah. But that's going to be the next play. So opening ticket for new content.
Yeah.
Right? He's,
because I didn't realize, I did not know he had written books.
Yeah, I had no idea.
That was a whole new concept for me. So like, it's coming.
Yeah. So it's got a new book's coming, guys. It's called How to Get Better. How to Turn It Around. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm not funny, Drin. So your pop said you can't control what people say or do.
Hey, and
he's totally correct. But you know what, though? My concern...
But you can control how you react to what they say.
But see, my thing is, sticking with the boys to men thing, I believe every male or even female on the chat, there was a time, though, in every person's life that you care.
You did care.
So what, and if everyone could put some ideas as well out there, and Dren, I'm asking you too, how do you train your kid
not
or
to
child?
Care?
Yeah, not because it's a delicate care, right? Because if you tell them not to care, then maybe when you give them feedback, they don't care what you say, right?
I don't care what you say.
So what would one say? How would the strategy?
See, I don't know.
Right?
I don't know because right now that we're really talking about it, I can't think of the specific instance.
I can't.
But in the same respect, like Char has started being like, but that's not cool.
Oh yeah.
Like his aunt bought him a pair of sneakers, and he hates those sneakers.
Oh God.
And they're not a bad pair of
Yeah.
sneakers. Like it's just regular running shoes or whatever. But he will not wear them. He's like, they're not cool. And it was like, and like, it's mad funny because Dina goes to a typical Haitian mom like cool. What is cool? What do you know about cool, right? Because it's
Shout
sneakers.
out to Dina. Yeah.
But it's like, I don't think, like, I think we probably might have to like change the wording on it. Not that it's not cool, but like it's not my style.
I like that. That might be that.
Because at least that says I don't care what other people think, but it's more what I believe.
So that's good. I love the angle. But let's think of. But is yours? Well, everyone's style is influenced somewhere, right?
Somewhere, yeah.
But yeah, that's good. So I think you kind of hit it on the head. I guess the best way to do it is to help your child identify who he or she wants to be. Right? I mean, guide them in a degree if they're trying to go, if they want to be I saw American Gangster, I want to be him. Yeah, it's a movie, right? But
you can take the business acumen.
Yeah, but not the other pieces, right? So I agree. I think you really hit on the head though, Mike. Like really that it's help your child identify who they want to be, what their style is, not necessarily everyone else's style, but their style. That goes down to what they want to do, see, behave, act. I think you really hit on the head though, Jim.
Yeah.
Real time.
Just quickly, guys, I know you guys are in the chat. It helps me out a lot if you guys like the video. Subscribe. If you are already subscribed, share this video on your Facebook, Instagram, all that. Help me get new subscribers. Like I said, I'm trying to reach 100 so I can get my own, I guess, YouTube domain where I can have it say actually YouTube/Drin Talks. So please, and hit the notification bells so that way you get alerts on the new videos coming up. I think it's one of those things where if we help them, help our boys identify what it is that they truly value, what they like, what their style is and stuff like that, they'll start to build that self-confidence within themselves where when somebody says something, it won't really matter to them.
Because I'm not trying to be you.
I'm not trying to impress you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to impress me.
Yeah.
It's always a me versus me mentality.
Yeah.
So I think not cheating, I think they have to be born with that. It all goes in their personality. What do you mean by not cheating? The not cheating part is throwing me off. Sorry. But so I think that, if we instill that, and that's why I say also, and it goes back to what we were saying in the first thing, like by giving them those responsibilities, right? And not only giving them the responsibilities, but like noticing and praising them for like when the responsibilities so positive reinforcement a lot will help build that self-confidence.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think
it helps shape the identity that they may want to have.
Yeah, because I think we do it a lot when they're children, when they're toddlers, as soon as they walk,
that's true.
But as they get older, we just kind of
become second nature. Like, you're supposed to.
You're supposed to do that. You know what I mean?
The positive reinforcement, and they'll get that. Oh man, Drin, you hit some places here, man. Because now you think on the other end, if they're out in school or anywhere else and they see Johnny do something negative and Johnny gets praised, not necessarily like the good job, Johnny, but the other kids are laughing.
Yo, Johnny did that.
Johnny's stupid, But now it might encourage them to
go do something. But now that's where at the home, if you instill integrity and praise them for that integrity, they'll kind of go out in the world and be like, yo, you know what?
Yeah. They won't praise Johnny and they won't be affected that other kids did. That's good.
And affected that they're not getting praised for their integrity because they know that's what the like for me, I was never like, I know people who smoked in high school and all that stuff, but it was just never in me to do.
Yeah.
And it was something from a child that I was told smoking's bad, smoking's bad. And we all told that, you go through dare, smoking's bad. But like for me, it was just never something that I ever found myself interested in at all. And then even going drinking. Yeah. Like it was just never something that I cared to do. I didn't start drinking until I was about 21.
Yeah. So the motivations weren't even there.
It wasn't even there because why? Also, granted, it was great examples. Like my parents didn't drink, they didn't smoke. Mm-hmm. And I also had my grandfather who did smoke. Mm-hmm. And I saw what that did to him with the coughing. Like, you know what I mean? Coin, now, granted, like especially back then, smoking was cool.
So normal, and cool.
Smoking cigarette commercials on TV.
All day.
It was cool. And then my grandfather was a smooth cat.
Yeah,
he was a smooth cat. Like I wear those hats, the grandpa hats, because of my grandfather.
Gotcha.
So he would be sitting on the front porch with his little cigarette, like just smooth. So it looked cool. Visually, it looked cool. Yeah. But for me, it just was never a thing. Yeah. So I think being an example, showing how you don't let other people affect you. Mm-hmm. And I think also like in those times when somebody says something negative or whatever, and you don't let it affect you, and then you can be like, hey, later on in the thing, like, hey, son, yo, you saw how that happened? Yeah. I didn't care that happened. Let him have his thing. Yeah. Or even showing like, my pops had a 87 Mustang. To this day, I was actually just talking to my friend about that now. If I'm going to buy a Mustang, I would want to get another 87, another Fox body, right? Yeah. I thought that car was the baddest thing in the world. Yeah. To the point where I'm a grown man and he gave it to me.
Oh, wow.
Right? Yeah. And nobody could tell me nothing.
Yeah, no matter what.
That car was old. It was old. It wasn't up to date, nothing.
Yeah.
But I thought slick shit, everything.
You had to roll down the windows manually, right?
No. It was power. It was power windows. It was power windows. It was power windows. But I thought it was the baddest car in the world. Yeah. Till this day. And nobody could tell me anything. But when I got it, before I had that car, I had a 96 Camry. Mm-hmm. Now the 96 Camry was gold. Mm-hmm. It had a little messed up hood. It was a little bent in the hood. Yeah. I had different color side view mirrors. Yeah. But you know what? Nobody could tell me nothing. Yeah. Because it was mine.
True.
Now, granted, I wanted other cars. Don't get me wrong. I admired other cars. But what was mine, I took care of because it was mine. Mm-hmm. Every week I would wash the car.
Yeah, like it's the Mustang.
And then when I got the Mustang, I did the same thing.
Maybe twice a day.
Yo, come Friday, it had to be clean.
That's it. Everyone knew Drew was
Everybody
cleaning the car.
So it's just, and I think I took that attitude of, I don't care what anybody thinks. It's going to be dope because it's mine.
Correct.
And because I had that attitude, other people found my stuff dope.
I hear you.
So I think if we kind of instill that, like my son loves cars right now, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, Dad, you need to get this, you need that. And I got a Camry again.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
But you know what? It's my Camry.
Yours.
And what does he see me do? Camry what does he see me do? There. Every Friday, I would be outside watching. Dad, can I help?
Let's go.
Why? Because he sees, all right, Daddy takes care of his car.
Yeah.
We get in the car and he puts his feet. I'm like, yo, I got to teach you how to respect people's car. You can't do that.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I can't do this.
Good.
Because you start learning, if you start take care of your own stuff, take care of what you have, enjoy what you have, cherish what you have already. Mm-hmm. Yes, you might want other things, but enjoy what you have already.
So you get it. Keep that thing. Like
keep your things up.
It kind of goes to what Cliff said here. He says, I'm not a parent yet, but I would teach my kids whose opinion to value.
Exactly.
That's strong, because that whoever's opinion that they value will be the biggest influencers.
And also teach them the biggest opinion the most valuable opinion to you is from you.
That's true. That's true. Because everyone will find something negative in you to exploit, to talk about, but you got to value every part of you.
You got to value every part of you.
Yes, that's so true. That's deep.
And that's something I'm coming into now too. Like as much as I love myself, there's certain things I am hard on myself for.
Of course.
Yeah. But I also have to value those parts of me too.
Correct.
You know, and it's coming to that realization now, growing, you're kind of like, dang.
Yeah. I hear you, brother.
And it was part then. You know, we can go on and on about it.
This is good though. I'll tell you that much. It's good.
So now, what do you think? Because we've been talking mostly about our sons, right? Because this is boys to men, but now you have a daughter.
Yeah. Oh Jesus. Oh man.
And now we're gonna temper it because last time we talked about our girls, we gotta. My sister was not feeling it. She went at it.
Oh boy. What? It's the same thing, but for me, when I think about a girl, and one, people might think it's biased, but like we said before, I know I'm a guy, right? And I know what my friends have done and what my friends thought and behaviors, and it goes back to kind of what Cliff said again. The values is who's going to be the strongest point, but it's no matter what, it's still nerve-wracking for me. I'm not going to lie. You could say, oh, I'm more not lenient, but I think my son's going to do fine, like without question. I'm not saying my daughter's not, but it's just I know maybe my wife feels the opposite. Maybe my wife knows women, and she's like, oh God, like she knows those other pieces that we might not know. So when I think of my daughter, I think of, oh God, the things that she could possibly be exposed to. But I think you and Cliff really hit it on the head. Like I think it's doing your best to, let them know whose opinions to value, including their own, and help them shape the type of man or woman they want to be. And I hate, I'm not really transitioning, but I'm gonna give you a point with me. Remember last time we talked, I said my dad died when I was 5. And when you're talking about value and stuff and oneself, it started to click. My mom's stories of my father is what I use to try to mimic. So when she would tell me he did this or he did that or he did the other thing, the way when she explained it, said it to me how elated she was. That was the value or the opinion or the structure built your manhood. Is what made me want to be like. So,
and that was that. I don't know if your mother was doing that strategically or purposefully, but the fact that she did that shaped who you are.
Yeah.
So in essence, you can say it's even, spiritual that your dad, divine, right? Like your dad was like, you know what, say
I'm
this.
Still here. Yeah.
Say this. Say
she's
this.
Talking. I'm talking through her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it brings back a quote or what's the thing I'm looking for? A saying that I've been, really taken to heart. As go the father, so go the son.
Yeah. Yeah.
So because of your father being that person, and like you said, he died when you were 5.
Yeah.
So really, within those 5 years, you were already shaped by him also, because I remember you telling us about a story with you guys hanging out in underwear and all this stuff like that. Yeah. So you had that memory of him, and then your mother saying, "This is what your father did.
Yeah.
This is what your father did." Saying all the positive.
Always saying aspects. He was a good man. He was a good man.
And then not only your mother, other people had said that about your father also.
Yeah.
So to you, you're like, I am from this person. So I inherently have these values, and I need to live up to
it. Yeah. And I really structured my life to it. So I was in the beginning when I was asking those questions, I was really seeking out the answer. Like I'm thinking, dang, I got a son. How do I really make sure he does the, quote unquote, the right things? But you guys really hit on the head. It's what we have to be the loudest ear, or the loudest person in their ear, and let them make sure that we teach them whose opinion to value. That's it's deep, man. I wish I had Yeah, it's deep, dog. That's all I can say.
Yo,
it really is.
It's one of those things. Like sometimes, like I really sometimes just sit back and think, and I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
Like it's heavy.
Very, very
It's
heavy.
a very heavy thing. And you're like, yo, like I'll just sit here and just look at him and just be like,
yeah.
Like I'm stressing.
Mm-hmm. You living his best life, and
he's living his best life, and then I'm like, yo, if I don't get this together,
if I don't get this right, it can go so many.
It can go completely left. Mm-hmm. But to him, you're gold.
Yeah, you're Superman.
You're gold.
Yeah.
And that, we can even transition into a whole different category, right?
Mm-hmm.
Still keeping in line with Kurt and his grown son.
Mm-hmm.
But now, just thinking about it this way. Now, you didn't get you didn't kind of get this revelation in essence because your father had passed.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But now being as an adult
mm-hmm.
and then seeing the flaws of your father.
Yeah.
That's a whole different dynamic.
Oh, I can imagine.
Like I remember seeing the flaws of my father.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, growing up, my father was
Superman.
Yeah.
Everything. He could do no wrong.
He could not do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And then when you see the flaws of your dad,
then
it can go left depending on how. But fortunately for me, like I said, my father was my hero. He couldn't do anything wrong. So once I started seeing the flaws of him, I kind of now, especially, I'm also a very weird person. Again, I saw flaws in other people and just accepted them for who they are. That's just how I am.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw my father's flaws, it was kind of like, you know what? He's human.
Yeah. Yeah, it is what it is.
He's human.
Yeah.
Yeah, was I upset with certain things? Yes, I'm going to be upset. But like I said, me and him have had that conversation.
Yeah.
And I've realized like my dad is a human being. He's a flawed individual. Why did I realize that? Because I started to look within myself that I'm a human being. I'm a flawed individual. And now as a father, seeing where I'm messing up in fatherhood.
Yeah. I'm a flawed individual.
And he not even seeing that.
Not even catching it yet.
He's just like, Daddy's great.
It's the best.
It's kind of like, dang, like I wonder what he was going through.
Oh man,
you know what I'm saying?
That's a good point too. Yeah.
Like, is this the same concept of what he was going through at that time?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of like, wow.
Yeah.
Like it's mind blowing because now you really start to look at it, and of course, again with that book, Male versus Man, you really start to look at manhood differently once you start having children.
Yeah.
Not saying that you can't do it before that, but like once you really start having children,
new dynamic.
And it's a whole new dynamic that you're not prepared for.
Yeah, and there's no book. There really is no sketch. There's no how to be
because it really depends on the child.
It does.
Like I can
your values.
You have 2 children now.
Yeah.
What you do with Tristan might be different from what you do with
Emma. Yeah. Yeah.
You might have to treat them on 2 different things.
Mm-hmm. In 2 different ways.
I forgot what movie it was where it was a father. He had 2 daughters, but he treated them 2 different ways, right?
Yeah.
And I think the older daughter kind of resented the dad for that. But the dad wound up dying. And because the dad wound up dying, whatever, they had, she hated the sister. Mm-hmm. It was like a bit beef. Yeah. And then they wound up having to like deal with each other. And they found out like certain things that the dad did with the other one, he didn't do with the older one. But like it was because he knew the older one can handle the problem, or he knew the other one needed that thing. And then once they realized that and they started seeing again the flaws of their father,
you're good.
Seeing the flaws of their father, they were like, wow, this man was great and we didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Well, we were so mad at him for treating the other the way we wanted to be treated, or that we felt that he was giving us less of, but he was really giving us what we needed.
Yeah.
Because now when he's not here, we are able to fulfill that within each other.
Correct.
To each other. And I was just like, yo,
It's real.
And this is that I watched that movie before I forgot the name of the movie. I want to say what's her name? Wow. Cameron Diaz was in it. I want to say she was in it, but I don't remember. But I didn't have kids when I saw that movie. And once I saw that, I was like, wait a minute. You mean you can treat your kids differently, or that you might even have to?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
I didn't even realize that would have to be a thing. I thought it was just kind of raise everybody the same.
Do the same thing, come out the same way. I got you. I totally understand what you're coming from. Totally
so that was a whole different dynamic that I was like, hold up. But again, I'm also coming from, it's me and my sister. Okay. So of course I figured my sister would be treated differently because she's a girl and I'm a boy.
Yeah.
But now these were two of the same sex.
And it's funny you mention that because me and my brother, my mom would tell me today, she always treated us differently. She would always say she would have to deliver information to me one way, but she could deliver it to Kirby, that's my little brother, in a totally different way because of the way he could receive it and the way I could receive it growing up. So it definitely hits a point. But not to hit you up, but Delva mentioned a very good question.
How would you address that with him if he or she would mention something you think is a flaw to you?
How would you deal with it? How would you address it? So, for instance, I get what she's saying. That's tough. Oh God, see, that's a tough one too. How do we? I mean, because then we're at the beginning. Remember, I mentioned help them create their own identity. Mm-hmm. Maybe their identity is not exactly like Dad or exactly like I want them to be. Right? That's a very good question. How would you address it if you think it's a flaw? Wow.
You threw us for a loop just now.
I don't even know what to say.
You threw us for a loop.
It hasn't happened yet. I guess that's the answer. I don't know. Well,
actually, no. You know what? Mm-hmm. I think you address it straight up. Mm-hmm. I think you have that matter-of-fact conversation and say, I think this is wrong. Yeah. Now, you're a parent. There's certain things that you just... Oh, why did that happen?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
No, I don't know. That's weird. I think, you're a parent, so I think there's certain things that you just, have to say matter of fact. They might not agree, but I think if you have that open dialogue and you've created that since they were children, where you and your child can go back and forth and openly express to each other, I don't think they'll take it very negatively. Now, granted, you might have to come at it with kid gloves, or be, tactful with it.
Yeah, with how to deal with it. I mean, I think you're right, but I guess when I read her question, I assumed that it's like the way I received the question was more of how it's almost like, well, how do you convert them to believe that what you see as a flaw is a flaw? And I guess you kind of still hit it on the head. You can't really do it because they will eventually have their identity. You can tell them why, and that's kind of like what my mom did. But I never really thought there was flaws. Long story short, my mom, if I ever learned something I didn't understand, we had a relationship where I could just come out and say it. Now, but like Cliff said, I did value her opinion. So if she said, Junior, don't do blank, 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 or this is what this means, don't use it or don't do it, I almost innately just was like, all right, Mom, right? And just kind of went with that. But I really haven't had a situation, maybe when I became an adult, but at the end of the day, I think you hit it on the head. You would have to tell them how you feel about it. But especially if they get to a certain age, especially, they're out of your house or, they're out of your house, then you kind of, in a sense, because you love them, kind of accept it. Always, not accept it, always speak your truth to them and pray that they hope that they eventually get it. But if not, they're a kid, you got to deal with it.
At a certain point, they become adults.
Yeah.
And then once they're adults, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow. Yeah. Good question, Delva. Very good question. Very, very good question.
Can't tell if. Wait, why is it scanned, Delva, though?
I have no idea.
But so I think this was
good. This was another real good one. I'm leaving with my head spinning. Like I'm still
and I'm sure we're gonna have more questions.
Yeah,
as we go along. It's this fatherhood thing is one of those.
It's a journey, G.
Yo, what's cool about, I guess, this generation now, right? So, like, you see how me and your dads were talking, and we're talking on a real public platform, openly about this, right? I think with our generation, we're more prone.
Because it's her name. No joke. Oh, no joke.
Okay.
Oh, well, nice name. She said no joke. Yeah.
All right, maybe. All right, apologies.
Yeah, we apologize.
I think we were assuming you were somebody else. That's why. We know somebody else with the last name Delva, so I thought that was that.
Yeah.
No beef.
Yeah, no beef. Yeah, no beef at all.
Where was I?
I don't even remember. I don't even.
Oh, okay. Yes, I think we're in a space now where, like I said, me and you are talking. We're fathers. We're talking about this openly, and at this point, it's being documented, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So at any point in the future, unless I take this down, Dako. At this point, anytime I can take this down, right?
Yeah.
But unless I take this down, it'll be up.
Yeah.
Unless YouTube like crashes or world apocalypse, knock on wood.
Yeah.
You know, I can take it. It'll be there forever, and he can literally just go back and watch them.
That's true.
And really,
keep the chronicles. See your thought process.
See my thought process while he's
growing up, while he was 5. 6.
And on top of that, like I said, us as men now, we are more open to talking about this. I don't know how open our parents were in talking about this, or even if they did talk about this, that was it. Like they talked about it and they kept it moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They didn't bring it up to their sons. Whereas I think for us, we're going to talk about it, and then we're going to have conversations about it with our sons, have conversations about it with people who aren't parents.
Yeah. Get that point of view.
Get that point of view.
Even other individuals' point of view.
You know, and that was part of the main reason why I created this platform, right? It was more because I felt like I needed a community that I wasn't getting. So I'm sure other people might need that.
Yeah.
So let's create a space where we can all come on here and talk.
And be just real about it.
You know what I mean? Like it's real stuff that we all go through. Like there was certain points in time, like I said, when my son was first born, like I was scared.
Yeah. Legit.
I was legit terrified. I've never been terrified in my life.
Can imagine.
Like I was legit terrified. Like I didn't know what I was going to do. And you know, I called my father and he was just like, "Yeah, you'll be all right.
Yeah,
it's just
you'll
a kid.
Make it through.
Yeah, he'll be all right."
Mm-hmm.
And at that time when he's saying that, I'm like, "Yo, this guy is crazy.
Yeah.
What do you mean I'm gonna be all right?" But again, I didn't know
what it comes with. No one does.
What I didn't know his flaws at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't know. Like I knew, but I didn't know. Like, you know, when he had me, he was driving a cab.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't know, he didn't have a career yet.
Yeah.
Kind of in the same boat where I'm at.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you.
And he made it work.
Yeah.
Him and my mother made it work.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine.
You feel what I'm saying? So like for him saying you're gonna be all right, it's because he went through it. Like
he made it through. Yeah.
You'll be all right.
I got you. I understand you clear as day. Especially because you mentioned the whole, no career, not, yeah, trust me. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still having kids. What bothers me the most is raising them right. That's really it. And
my biggest thing is I don't want Charlie to go to anybody's house while I'm not there and they say, "Oh, that Charlie kid, he's a bad kid," blah, blah, blah. Because like for me, like you can ask anybody, anytime me and my sister went to their house, it was always like, those Charles kids, they're great. They're respectful. They don't go in people's fridges. I mean, yeah, we would get yelled at for my parents or whatever.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
just knew there was certain things we're not supposed to do. But like, I want him to be a respectful young man. And I agree with the saying, D.L. Hughley says this all the time, whereas that's my name. And I'm not talking about, yes, Charlie's named after me, specifically Aldrin Charles III.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about my last name.
Yeah.
That's my name.
Surname, yeah. The one that will follow him.
That's my name.
In every generation.
And until you get your own family, then it's your name. But until then, you represent me.
Yeah.
Anything you do, they're not looking at it as, oh, that's Charlie. They're looking at it, that's Dina and Aldrin's child. Yeah. Aldrin's son. You represent your parents.
Yeah.
Wherever you go.
It's true.
That's why it was big for my parents that if I couldn't do it in front of them, you shouldn't be doing it. So to them, they wanted to be like, hey, we know everything that my kids do. Because that was a big thing for them. Yeah. Growing up, like it was a lot of people will come and say like negative things to their parents. Mm-hmm. And both my grandmothers, they were all like, listen, I know what my kids do. Yeah. I don't need you to come tell me what my kids do.
Correct.
Mind your business, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that would happen with their group of friends too, where my grandparents would literally take up like all these are mine. Mm-hmm. I don't care if they have different mothers; these are all mine.
Yeah.
You don't come tell me. You don't come tell me what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And I want that to be like, listen, I don't want anybody coming up to me like, your son did this. I know what my son did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My son came and told me before you even came and told me.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. I got you, brother. I hear you loud and clear. That's it. I guess that's the trend. That's how we get our kids to transition from boys to men. When I think about our journey, I love the fact that we have two separate journeys too, in the sense that even you had your father, my mom and father, and my pops died. So I'm seeing the two different ways that even we still arrived to where we arrived to.
Yeah.
But how it transitioned and
I think like I said, what was gold on what your mom did was tell those stories.
And it was just simply telling stories. From my understanding, I'll ask her after today, was it purposeful? But I really believe it was just we were in the car or we were in the house. And I may have asked about him and she just started.
But that also speaks to the type of man your father was.
Yes, definitely.
For her to even be able to keep telling those stories. Because even you probably asked her today and she say, hey, mom, was it purposeful? And she's like, no, I just was telling a story. That was purposeful by your father.
Yeah. I guess
to be that type of man.
Yeah. It's interesting, man. So that's the only way we can do it. That's the way to do it. Right. That's the way to get them from boys to men, brother. That has to be it.
It's a journey. It's a journey. It's difficult. It's something that we all should take seriously, especially being in the climate that we're in, especially, all men should do it, but especially for these young Black boys, point blank. And even if, and this is for the people that don't have kids, even if your sister has kids and the father's not there or whoever, that one kid in your neighborhood, if you see that they're like, each one teach one. We shouldn't be a culture or a neighborhood into like, I'm not messing with it because that's not my kid. You know what I mean? Like, again, I had this kid in my firehouse. He's been there since I joined the firehouse. I've been in the firehouse for almost 8 years now. He was like 12, right? He's 18 now, so 10.
Yeah, when you first met him.
When we first met him, and I swear he was one of these little bad kids just riding around. Yeah. Like his father was, I don't believe his father was in the picture like that. His mother had to work, and it was grandmother watching him. And she's an older lady, so he's all over the place. Yeah. And then we just started, playing in the firehouse band, and he just kind of stayed and watched us, and he would just keep coming to watch us. So like he would kind of just hang around us. Now, mind you, I don't know if it's because he just saw Black people and it was the firehouse because it's predominantly white. I'm not going to sit here and say nothing else about that. But he kind of just gravitated toward us.
Yeah.
And we just kind of took him under our wing.
Come on in.
All right, cool. Like he wasn't allowed to do
a lot of things,
because
liability and
all that stuff. But like he, to the point where like we don't have a juniors department anymore, but they gave him a whole uniform and everything. Like he ingratiated himself within everybody in the firefighter, and now he's a firefighter.
Look at that.
You know what I mean?
Look at the influence.
Technically, he's only supposed he joined at 17. Technically speaking, he wasn't supposed to join at 17. But because everybody loved him, nobody was going to tell him nothing.
Yeah. And you know, it's so funny that again, that's it kind of goes back to Cliff and values. Your firehouse and your team of men over there influenced him in a way, not so much so that he was even wanting to be a firefighter. Who knows if you guys were never there playing the band, or
we don't know what he would have been.
Shoot him off.
Yeah, we don't know what he would have been.
How would he turn out?
And right now, I'm happy to say he's told me today he got a scholarship to Cortland University into the pre-med program.
Beautiful. Wow. What a story.
And Dina's gonna know him because he helped out at the baby shower, Jaden. Like he's a. When I tell you Jaden's lived 6 of my lives already, Jaden's lived 6 of my lives already. Wow. But as much as we crack on him, I'm very proud of him because I saw from what kid he was as a child, and he stuck to it. Yeah. Like at first we were kind of like, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna be a fireman. We were like, all right, man. By the time you're a teenager, you're gonna grow out of that. But he stuck to his what? Like he really wanted to be in. And not only is he a fireman, he's EMT. Mm-hmm. Like he's doing a lot. The whole thing. He does a lot. Has like 2 jobs. Like he's doing a lot. And technically he's living on his own. His parents don't even live up here. Yeah. Yeah. Matter of fact, shoot, I missed it because he was supposed to be on NBC4 News today because they were doing a story on his story. Wow. But the kid's he's a bright kid, especially like I'm telling you, I went through it, I saw it. Like
saw the transition
from a kid that was struggling with his homework to, I'm telling you, like fireman after fireman was helping him. They were like, yo, Jaden, I heard you were doing what's going on. Yeah. Yo, that's it. Right. We're gonna get you right. Yeah. Come, you having trouble with that? Come to my house. I'm gonna fix that up. Like, and he had all these examples in front of him that was really like, and I'm talking about everybody at the firehouse. That's a great story for real. But it goes back to kind of what Cliff said, because of what you all did and taking him under his wing, that he got direction from all of you men. Yeah. Maybe we need more of that. It's not a maybe. We definitely need more of that. We definitely need more of that.
That's who would have known where he would be. And that's a good point. That's a very good point. Statistically, he wasn't going to be in a great place. Statistically speaking, I don't know his life, but the way you just brought it out, statistically, he had a harder hill to climb to achieve what he's achieving right now. Yeah. But the only catalyst I would say that really affected it was how much men poured into him. Yeah.
I personally believe so. I don't know if he'll say that. Yeah. But I personally believe like him. I do. I do think he'll say it because, like I said, we all said like, by the time he's a teenager in high school, he ain't coming around here no more. But he's around. He stays within the fire department, and like he sometimes I think he overextends himself because he's doing so much. Like he was in WAC, which is the Wheatley Heights Wyandanch Ambulance Corps. Then now he's in Brentwood. Like he's all over the place. He's but like he loves doing this thing.
He's giving it his all.
So yeah, but that said, Leroy, we are coming up on an hour and a half.
Always try to keep this. Always kill this thing.
Yeah, it was a very good conversation, so that's why. Definitely. And I see that now people are more joining in. Definitely, guys, leave a like button, of course, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that way you get alerts. I appreciate you all guys for joining us. I'm going to be actually creating a group, I believe, on Facebook so that we can do kind of like a little after hours after the talk. If anybody still has any questions, and we can kind of have that there. But also next week, I will not have a Drin Talks. All right. Next week, I will not have a Drin Talks. I'm specifically reserving next week to create plans for the channel. And then coming straight up in April, we're gonna hit the ground running. So next week we won't have a Drin Talks. There will still be something at 8 o'clock, but it won't be a live Drin Talk. I'll probably replay something. I don't know yet. But again, next week we're not having one. Again, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I gotta come up with like a saying, because like most YouTubers I see, like they have like a saying that says it, and I'm kind of just all over the place. So, but we gonna get there. We gonna get there. Baby steps. Like I said, I'm working on the platform. I literally learned some stuff on the streaming platform that I'm using today, so it's gonna get a lot better. Leroy, I appreciate you as always. You are a friend of the channel.
Definitely.
Anytime you want to come on, you got my number. Shoot me a text. You are more than welcome to come on. You literally, every time we have a conversation, whether it be on this or outside, we wind up talking for a good long while.
Yeah.
And it's like we literally figure out stuff together.
Yeah.
So
that's the best part. I'm not gonna lie, that's the best part.
Like, and again, it's that community.
Yeah.
It's that community where we can sit and literally just, find out stuff together. But again, thank you guys for coming on, and we'll see you next time. This is Drin Talks.